My name is Elaine Parker, and I am 63 years old. If you've ever believed that love means sacrifice, that family is sacred, that blood is thicker than water, I need you to listen closely. Because on a cold Tuesday morning in Columbus, Ohio, everything I thought I knew about loyalty was shattered by the very people I had given my life to. My story begins long before that moment, with grief, with love, with a promise I made to a man I buried too soon. My husband, James, died in a construction accident when our son, Daniel, was just 6 years old. One phone call changed everything. "Ma'am, there's been an incident. We're so sorry." The words echoed in my ears like a nightmare I couldn't wake from. James was gone. And suddenly, I was alone, with a child who looked up at me with wide, confused eyes and asked, "Where's Dad?" That night, I held Daniel close and whispered through tears, "I'll take care of you, no matter what." And I meant it. For the next 37 years, I lived by that promise. I became a cleaner at a downtown office building, scrubbing floors until my hands cracked. I took weekend shifts at a diner, serving coffee to strangers while dreaming of a better future for my boy. I sold my wedding ring, the only thing I had left of James, for $800. With that money, I paid Daniel's first semester tuition at community college. I moved us into a tiny two-bedroom apartment where winter drafts seeped through the walls. I wore the same coat for 7 winters. I skipped meals, so he wouldn't have to. Every dollar I earned went toward his education, his future, his dream. And when he finally graduated law school, top of his class, in a suit I'd saved 6 months to buy, I stood in the crowd, clapping until my palms burned. I thought that was the end of the struggle. I thought the hard part was over. I was wrong. The betrayal didn't come with a scream. It came with silence. A quiet conversation I wasn't supposed to hear. I was recovering from a minor surgery, resting on the couch with a heating pad on my lower back. Daniel and his wife, Victoria, thought I was asleep. They sat in the kitchen, voices low but clear. "She's getting worse," Victoria said. "The doctor said her heart condition could get serious anytime." Daniel sighed. "We can't wait forever. The house is worth nearly $500,000. Her life insurance policy is $250,000. And she still has that retirement account." My breath caught. I forced myself to stay still, to keep breathing slowly, as if I were asleep. "So, what's the plan?" Victoria asked. "An accident," Daniel replied. "Maybe a fall down the stairs. Or we make it look like she forgot to take her medication. People die from that all the time." I felt like the floor had opened beneath me. My own son, my baby, was planning to kill me. And then, the worst part, my phone buzzed softly on the table. A group chat with my brother Harold, his wife Patricia, and Daniel. I glanced at it. "Harold, any updates on Elaine? Still hanging in there?" Daniel, "Not for long. Doctors say she might not make it through the year." Patricia, "Honestly, it's for the best. She's been a burden for years. Once she's gone, we can finally split the assets." Harold, "Poor thing. But let's be realistic, she's stingy. Never gave us a dime when we needed help. Maybe her death will finally do some good." I stared at the screen, tears burning behind my eyes. These weren't strangers. These were my blood. My brother. My son. And they saw me not as a person, but as a problem to be solved, a bank account to be accessed. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay awake, replaying every sacrifice, every missed meal, every lie I told myself that they loved me. And then, something inside me shifted. I wasn't going to die quietly. I wasn't going to be erased. I was going to fight back. But I couldn't do it alone. I needed someone I could trust completely. That's when I turned to Marjorie Thompson, my next-door neighbor. Marjorie was a retired ICU nurse, sharp, observant, and fiercely loyal. She'd brought me soup after my surgery, checked on me daily, and once even caught me crying in my car. When I told her what I'd heard, she didn't hesitate. "They won't get away with this," she said firmly. "We're going to stop them. Together." Our plan was bold, dangerous, but necessary. We would fake my death. Marjorie helped me stage a medical emergency. She called 911, reported a sudden cardiac arrest, and performed CPR until the paramedics arrived. I was rushed to the hospital, pronounced dead on arrival due to a massive heart attack. The obituary was published the next day. Friends called. Neighbors lit candles. Daniel and Victoria played the grieving son and daughter-in-law perfectly, crying at the funeral, thanking people for their support. Meanwhile, I was alive, hidden in Marjorie's basement, watching it all unfold through security footage. We had installed hidden cameras throughout my house, motion-activated, cloud-backed, undetectable. And within 48 hours of my death, they showed exactly what we feared. Daniel arrived first, key in hand, no hesitation. He walked straight to my bedroom, emptied my jewelry box, and stuffed my grandmother's pearls into his coat pocket. Victoria followed, carrying large trash bags. She started packing up my clothes, my books, my photo albums, tossing them like garbage. "This stuff is worthless," she said. "But the furniture sells for good money online." Then came Harold and Patricia. They drove up in a U-Haul. "Let's start with the living room," Harold said. "That antique dresser is worth a few thousand." Patricia laughed. "Can you believe she never gave us anything while she was alive? Now we're cleaning out her whole damn house." I watched it all. Every laugh, every greedy grab, every cruel word. My own family, tearing apart the home I built with my bare hands. But we weren't done. We needed proof. So Marjorie and I contacted a local news station, W.C. Well Investigates, and offered them an exclusive story. A widow's betrayal, family plots to profit from her death. They agreed to do a live broadcast from my home as Daniel and the others divided my estate. The day of the broadcast, cameras rolled. Reporters stood outside my house. Inside, Daniel, Victoria, Harold, and Patricia sat around my dining table, now covered with stacks of paperwork, property deeds, and cash. The host began. "We are here today to expose a shocking case of elder exploitation and conspiracy. This woman, Elaine Parker, was pronounced dead last week. But what her family doesn't know is she's very much alive." The camera panned to the front door. I stepped inside, calm, composed, dressed in black. The room froze. Daniel's face drained of color. Victoria dropped her pen. Harold gasped. Patricia screamed. You're dead," she stammered. I looked at them each in turn. "No," I said. "I'm not dead, but your freedom might be." Before they could react, police officers entered, warrants in hand. "Daniel Parker, Victoria Parker, Harold Jenkins, Patricia Jenkins, you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and grand theft." As they were handcuffed, Daniel finally broke. "Mom, please. I didn't mean it. Victoria made me do it." I shook my head. "You typed those messages. You planned the accident. Don't blame her for your greed." The footage aired nationwide. Social media exploded. #JusticeForElaine trended for days. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Evidence was overwhelming: recordings, texts, financial records. They were all found guilty. Daniel received 12 years. Victoria, 10. Harold and Patricia, 6 each. I didn't feel joy. I felt relief.
And sorrow.
I had lost my son, not to death, but to betrayal. After the trial, I sold the house, the one I'd cleaned, repaired, and loved for 30 years. I didn't want to live in a place filled with ghosts. Instead, I bought a small cottage near Lake Erie, where the sun rises over the water and the air smells like pine and peace. But I didn't stop there. I used the proceeds from the sale to create the Elaine Parker Scholarship Fund, a program dedicated to helping single mothers pursue higher education. I know what it's like to work 3 jobs and still worry about rent. I know what it's like to sacrifice everything for your child. This fund is my way of giving back to women who remind me of my younger self. I also rebuilt my life in another way, through connection. I invited Marjorie to move in with me. She's not just my neighbor anymore, she's family. I reconnected with old friends who had drifted away during my years of isolation. I started volunteering at a senior center, reading to residents, organizing game nights. I even joined a book club. For the first time in decades, I wasn't defined by what I gave up, but by what I had become. One evening, as I sat on my porch watching the sunset, Marjorie handed me a letter. It was from Daniel. "Dear Mom," it read. "I know you may never forgive me. I don't expect you to, but I want you to know I've changed. Prison has given me time to reflect. I see now how much I took from you, your love, your strength, your dignity. I'm sorry. Not because I got caught, but because I failed you as a son." I folded the letter slowly. Forgiveness? I don't know if I'm ready for that. But healing? Yes. Healing is possible. Looking back, I realized something powerful. Family isn't about blood. It's about loyalty. It's about who shows up when you're broken, who stands by you when the world turns its back. Daniel, Harold, Patricia, they had my DNA, but they didn't have my heart. Marjorie, my book club friends, the women I helped through the scholarship, they have my heart. And that's what matters. If you've ever been taken for granted, used, or betrayed by the people who should have protected you, let this story remind you, you are not disposable. Your life has value. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away and choose yourself. If this story touched you, please hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. Your voice matters. And together, we can prove that resilience always wins.